What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Raw Stocks. This is Rustic, and today we're going to be taking a look at some of Tesla's charts. We're going to look at where price came from, where price ended on Friday, and where price is likely to head into the rest of the week, and maybe even further out than that. Before I get started, don't forget to check out some of the links in the descriptions below. We have a link to the Gamma Edge options data service. I think they're the best. It's what we use on the Raw Stocks Trading Discord. That's what we use in a lot of our analysis. They do have a 14-day free trial, so that's pretty cool. You can give them a whirl. We also have a lot of trading education on the Raw Stocks YouTube website, specifically about Gamma Edge. We also are down to answer any questions, as well as their support includes with their subscription. They have their own Discord where they'll answer any kind of questions related to the Gamma Edge product. Other links in the description below too, so check them out. Also a link to our free trading Discord where you can be part of the Raw Stocks family, hang out, talk about Tesla, talk about other stocks, all kinds of stuff like that. We also have a 7-day trial for our premium membership, which includes callouts, additional analysis, and all kinds of other stuff. Also includes our custom scalping indicator that is good for especially for indexes like QQQ and SPY. So let's go ahead and jump into the charts. We got the weekly chart pulled up on Tesla. You can see using our Smart Money Concepts indicator by Lux Algo. That is a free indicator. We have a fair value gap. We got an order block on the weekly time frame. We have another fair value gap right here. So you can see we're starting to see some bullish momentum as we came off of that aggressive sell-off, right? Which there was not really much structure to that. If you take a look like at our trend line, I mean, it's nothing, right? And it's just like straight selling. Take a look at like maybe this low to this low. We got a bit of a wedge kind of thing going on, or a megaphone pattern. If you take this low right here, either way, it's expanding outward. We would not expect that to hold, right? And then we have our order block here, which we might come back down and hit. We'll see. Not entirely sold on that, but we do have some lows here, right, which we came down and tested. There wasn't really a really good solid order block in here. You could maybe say this weekly order block here came down and got filled out. If we take a look at that, we call that an order block. This is just rough. I'm just kind of throwing it in there without doing some proper measurements. There's a little bit better, but you can see we came down, we tested that order block. We bounced off of it for support. So now we're going to cycle back up to the buy side. I'm going to go ahead and take, I'll leave that on. We're coming up here to approach this trend line. Again, there was not much structure in here. We had that move down, that move up, and then just straight selling down into that order block, right? Which is where our support is, which we also didn't have a whole lot of structure on the way up. Had some minimal stuff here, which you can also see in this weekly candle. We came down and tested this support range here. We sold back up, but ultimately we ended up selling down into our support range here. Right, so we're finding support here. We're looking for this trend line to break. Where would that break up to? 303 all the way up to 334, where we can find continued resistance inside of that fair value gap on the weekly time frame. A really good target would be that consequent encroachment, which would come in at right around 320. We'll call it 320 just because that's a rounder number. But that's going to be our weekly fair value gap consequent encroachment. So it's a minus fair value gap. Weekly time frame, we can go ahead and annotate that on our chart. Okay, and then we would expect at this point in time, until we cycle back down, potentially this is a order block consequent encroachment. That's a plus order block, weekly time frame, consequent encroachment as well. So we want to put CE. I forgot to put that on this fair value gap. So that's consequent encroachment as well. Okay, so we have kind of our range targets here, right? I will also throw on the outside range there, and we already have the range low here. We'll call it that order block low. So we got 215 to 334.47. Call it 335. So that gives us kind of our internal range that we're looking at here. If we also look on a weekly chart at our premium discount range, we could use something like our GAN box, or we could use our fib level to just give us that. And so another thing I'm going to mark out on the chart here using a horizontal line is equilibrium. So equilibrium is where we're going to move from discount, which we're currently in. back up to premium. So above 354, we'll call it 354 is equilibrium. So above there, we're in premium. At that point in time, we don't really want to be, entering long positions, chasing the run up. Okay. Right now we're in discount to this whole range here. So buying in this order block is our lowest risk entry. Okay. Our next lowest risk entry on a high time frame is all the way down at 171, right? Down to 140 in this order block. But if we break out of this trend line, okay, we could look for resistance in the weekly fair value gap. If we reject there, we'll cycle back down, test this order block again, and then potentially come down into this order block below. But that's a couple hypothetical situations. Right now, we have a bullish weekly candle, right? We've taken most of the liquidity down here. We've moved up. We haven't broken these highs yet. That'll be one test, and then that trend line. So let's drop into the one day chart. And we can see on the daily chart, we still have those weekly levels, but also there's some confluence here, right? Inside of this weekly fair value gap that we had here, which this was our high, we have a daily fair value gap, okay? And then here we have the consequent encroachment of that. So we'll go ahead and annotate that as well. And both of those are right around the same level. So that builds some confluence. So we have here a minus fair value gap, and that's daily, and this is the consequent encroachment. So we'll have both of those annotated. Okay, now what you can also see on this one is that we get relative equal lows here, okay, and we get a change of character, which is bullish in this case. Down here was bearish. This was a false alert. Okay, we actually didn't get a candle close below that low, so this was or maybe we did, this little gray candle here, barely closed below it. But we didn't get a new low, so that was a false alert on the bearish change of character. Okay, and then it was a false alert on this one. You can see we got a change of character, we came back down, we cycled back down, but we didn't close below the low. So now we have another change of character on the daily chart. So hopefully what we see is a move up. We'll likely see rejection and then see some kind of retracement and then see another pop up. That's what ultimately what we want to see for that change of character to play out. And that will give us a break of structure if that does play out. So we can draw that out. We get our first move, right? Our second move that breaks character here. Okay, we'd likely see rejection somewhere around here. We would come back down, maybe test the broken trend line, and we'd break out again. And that would give us a break of structure here. And if this was a corrective move only, then that would likely be the end of it, and we would cycle back down. Or we could come back and set another wave up, which would give us a 3-wave move, which would be a bullish indication. And then we would likely see a corrective move down and then 3 more waves up, or 5 waves, I suppose, but 3 bullish moves up. So those are some of the things I'm looking like on the daily chart when we see this change of character. We're still down here at discount. We're still near the lows. I mean, it's, it's Tesla, so 215 to 285. So it's not exactly near the lows, but relative to the way price moves with Tesla, we're still at discount, right? Until we get all the way up to 350, we're still in discount. So it's still not a bad buy area. I would have much rather bought down here. That's what I was calling out to the Discord members. If you're a share trader, well, not even a trader, more like an investor, you want to be accumulating down here at the lows. Even though there was a lot of commotion saying we were going sub 200, I was saying this is a great place to be accumulating shares for the next move up. Last thing we'll look at is we'll look at 2 more charts, 4-hour chart, and then we'll look at the 1-hour chart. So on the 4-hour chart, you see we got a bullish fair value gap. We also get a change of character on the 4-hour chart, and we get this fair value gap respected. We get another fair value gap here. I would likely see this fair value gap respected as well. Okay, that could be a deep, maybe we see a little pop up, or maybe we see it come down first, and it could come down deep all the way to 265. I'd like to see the consequent encroachment respected at 270, 260, and then see us make a move up towards that fair value gap we were talking about. Maybe come back down, retest that trend line, and then push us above equilibrium into premium. At that point in time, we'd be looking to exit our longs above the equilibrium and premium, and then we'd be waiting for a move back down or some kind of confirmation that we were heading back down. Now, alternatively, for an unbiased opinion here, if we gave up this fair value gap, we could come back down or test this trend line, or this inverted fair value gap could be resistance, and then we could come down to try to take these lows, ultimately heading down to that weekly order block that was hanging out down in the 170s. Okay, so if we break down from here, that's likely what we're going to see happen. You can see there is a lot of resistance just kind of in this area. You get a lot of wicks going on right here. It's not necessarily drawn an order block, but just showing you wicks, like a lot of rejection. So we easily could see this reject this trend line and these previous points of rejection, right? And then potentially see us fall apart here. So be watching that trend line, be watching, what happens up and around the 300 if we get there, all the way up to like that 320 mark. And then lastly, we'll look at the 1 hour chart. The 1 hour chart also shows us fair value gaps that are confluence here. They're stacking. We get a change of character. We get a break of structure. We get these fair value gaps. This is a big one. This is the one I'd probably expect to get tested. Not sure where we're at in, Sunday or 24-hour trading, but we'll see if we get that kind of peekaboo over and then a drop back down to like that 270 range, right? And then see us make that move. It'll give us a break of structure here, right? We've already got a break of structure here. And then again, looking for that rejection, maybe somewhere in that 300 to 320, more likely that consequent encroachment. But the first pass we could easily reject. If we go back to the weekly chart, the first pass we could easily reject this just 303, right? Or even just maybe fall short of it just a little bit, right? And that would be right around that 300 level. Okay, so wouldn't be unusual to see us break out to run a first try on this fair value gap, okay, and then recycle back down again. If we looked at the lower time frame charts, 1 hour, right, that'd be a push towards 300, coming back down to like 270, right, respecting this fair value gap, and then seeing that push back up through 300. We could have come all the way back down again to this 250 range, test this order block again, and then try to make a move. It just depends on momentum. That's what I got for you guys today. Hopefully it's been helpful. Again, don't forget to check out the links in the description below. Smash a like, subscribe, share with all your friends. It really helps to get our name out there. Raw Stocks as a community is growing. Been around for over a year. Successful traders, successful analysis, and we have a lot more tools to offer now than we ever have in the Discord. Again, it's free to join. 7-day free trial if you want to upgrade to premium. Thanks for checking us out, and we'll see you guys on the next one.